sit here at the crossroads of a generation. It's the middle of 2005, and by this time next year, we'll have 2, if not 3 new consoles to play with. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's devote the next half hour to looking at the current generation of consoles. We'll look at where they've been, where they're going, and what we'll all do when they're dead.
The GameCube launched in November 2001, effectively putting the final nail in the N64's coffin. The bulk of the GameCube's 2001 releases landed on the 17th, putting it right up against the release of the Xbox. The years following the GameCube's launch offered a handful of great, unique games. Nintendo took some chances and released some unique products over the last few years, and Animal Crossing's release in North America was definitely an unexpected surprise.
Really happened?
Though the GameCube never made much of a splash with online-enabled games, it did offer some unique connectivity features. It was possible to string together a GameCube and a number of Game Boy Advance units for some unusual results.
Yeah!
With the Nintendo Revolution set to land next year, and most third-party developers turning their backs on the GameCube sooner rather than later, the system's days are definitely numbered. However, there's one game that stands above all. for the revolution, it remains a mystery. What we do know, however, is that it will run old Nintendo games such as these.
Brought to you by T-Mobile to Go. Get more prepaid minutes without hidden fees or contracts.
This is the American way.
The launch of the PlayStation 2 capped off Sony's successful entry into the video game business with the original PlayStation. The PlayStation 2 was an immediate sales success, though the games available at the system's launch weren't really an immediate indicator that the PS2 would be the juggernaut of the generation. As time marched on, the PlayStation 2 became the home of a bunch of huge games.
Glad you could make it. The party's about to start.
How about Metal Gear Solid 2, huh? With its drive you crazy storyline, MGS2 was a game that got people talking, and then had them yammering on and on about the plot for years.
What did you just do? What is this? It's the switch for the biggest bomb in the entire place. Where is it? Go ahead, shoot me. I'm already dead. Damn!
Some of Sony's other big additions to the gaming landscape include the Ratchet & Clank series and the ever-popular, ever-dark God of War. The PlayStation 2 definitely got its share of sometimes useful peripherals. The network adapter, obviously, is the most useful PS2 add-on you can get. The iToy might not have a ton of available games, but the unique games that have been made available are interesting diversions from the norm. The PlayStation 2 hard drive seemed like a really neat idea at the time, but instead, it's only good for Final Fantasy XI. Though the PlayStation 3 is currently under development, scheduled for release next year, there are still a handful of sharp-sounding PS2 games planned for release this year. Sony showed off a ridiculous amount of new footage back at E3 2005, including a new Warhawk game, a Killzone sequel, and more. But is any of that stuff real? We'll have to wait a little while longer to know for sure.
Sports to order, or go to directvsports.com/NFL for more details.
No one really expected that Microsoft would have been so successful with its first foray into video game consoles. The Xbox launched back in November of 2001 with a bunch of games, and yet it really only launched with one.
All you greenhorns who wanted to see Covenant up close, this is going to be your lucky day.
Kabuki Warriors. Words simply cannot describe how amazingly awful this game is. Out of the gate, the Xbox struggled. Although Halo was a runaway success, few other games even began to approach that same level of depth and quality. Eventually, Microsoft released Halo 2.
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
Between Halo and Halo 2, we got some stunning games. Though it wasn't the only console with online games this generation, the Xbox did online right.
Watch out, Chief. Wraith's on the far side. That is another Halo.
The future of the Xbox is the Xbox 360. Microsoft's last original Xbox game is Conquer Live and Reloaded. But Fable: The Lost Chapters is on for later this year. Some third-party games are still in development for the old Xbox.
Need a late-night snack? Try barbed wire biscuit. Blow stuff up and learn about science with Brainiac. Get sick and twisted with the Happy Tree Friends and Friends. And sample the best eye candy from Japan with Anime Unleashed and Cinematech Nocturnal Emissions. Taste the party. Barbed wire biscuit. Monday at midnight.
Well, it looks like we've come to the end of the road for the GameCube. I remember when I first picked it up and got my copy of Super Monkey Ball. It was unlike anything I'd ever played before. It was pretty amazing.
The highs were so high, but they were so few and far between, you know? It's like Nintendo's games were fantastic, but what else was there?
Well, there's stuff like Resident Evil 4. You can't discount that. Capcom gave it a good swing. There's Killer 7. There's plenty of other good third-party games. I remember when I spent New Year's with Animal Crossing trying to get the special costumes and talking to Tom Nook. I'm going to miss him the most.
Pour one out for Tom Nook.
Had a good run, you know. If people just believed in the system more, things might have turned out a little different, but
It didn't have to end this way.
it was a grand, grand adventure.
Too bad it didn't have any online support.
You could always hook up your Game Boy to it.
Yeah, too bad about not having any online support.
Yeah.
To me, what stands out about the Xbox, the thing I'll always remember, was all those 12-year-old kids yelling into my earpiece, telling me that I'm gay, asking about chocolate milk.
Bring me chocolate milk! Why? I want some chocolate milk!
But for all the trials and tribulations you went through, Xbox Live really was a revolutionary thing. It totally changed the way that anyone thought online gaming could be done. And without the Xbox, what we're seeing in the future probably wouldn't happen.
this system made console shooters go far beyond their means that they've ever accomplished in the past. I think a lot of PC gamers may have switched over to consoles because of the Xbox.
Definitely made it at least worth giving it a shot. I waited in line overnight to get my first PlayStation 2.
It was cold out in front of that Walmart.
Raining. It was terrible.
It was worth it.
It might not have been the most powerful system in the world, but with the sheer number of games and just the number of different genres that thing covered, you know, no matter what you were into, the PlayStation 2 totally had something right up your alley.
Well, my alley happened to be filled with criminals in Grand Theft Auto 3. Without Grand Theft Auto 3, who knows what video gaming would be like today. It changed the face of it, and that was thanks to the PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2 made a whole lot of things possible. Definitely took gaming in a much more mainstream direction.
I don't know that I'm ready to say goodbye, but I think it's time to move on.
You're right.